All right, so when you, this is just a general random video diary. When you, I don't have time to sit at a computer and type anymore, so this is my only option to videotape these things. Most of the time when I'm driving, because that's the only time I'm not doing something else. So you might say, well, that's really dangerous, and I say, I can see why you say it, but I don't think so, because I'm holding the phone with one hand, I'm driving with the other hand, and I'm not looking at the phone, I'm looking at the road, I'm looking around. I talk to myself anyway, so what's the difference? Now, if I had a thing to hold my phone, that would be an improvement. But I keep, you can ask anybody who rides with me, I keep at least like 10 car lengths between me and other cars. So there's never, it's not enough as far as I'm concerned. And I always tell my kids, triple your following distance, because to me, it's not enough to have enough distance between you and other cars to be able to stop if somebody stops fast, right? To me, that's not enough. Because if they stop fast and I have to stop fast and I have enough room to stop, you might say, well, you're okay then. No, you're not. Well, you might be. But I'm saying, no, you're not okay. Because if I have to stop fast, then I'm counting on the fact that the guy behind me, okay, has enough room to stop fast. So yeah, I might have avoided an accident because I didn't hit the guy in front of me because when he stopped fast. But the guy behind me, or 2 cars back, or 3 cars back, maybe they didn't have enough distance, or they were distracted, or whatever. So not only do I want to have enough distance to stop fast, I want to have enough distance that I don't ever have to stop fast, right? And I don't want to be shocked. I don't want to be caught, like in an emergency type situation. That's my philosophy. And if you have the 10 car lengths or whatever, like right now I'm going 40 and there's probably like 7 or 8 car lengths between me and the guy in front of me. So this cough, man, it's killing me. So if you have a bunch of car links between you and the guy in front, then he slams on his brakes. Guess what? I don't care. He can slam on his brakes all day long. It's not going to make me slam on my brakes, right? I mean, I can stop comfortably, or I have time to look in my mirror and see if the lane next to me is open. If it is, I can just switch lanes and never even slow down and just go around it, So anyway, that's the way I look at it. So that's one of the things that I harass my kids about. Triple your following distance, especially if you have kids in the car or something, so you need that buffer. But my video diary today is not about that, although I could stop now and make it about that and then make another one later. And then immediately make another video diary, which is what I originally intended to make. I might do that, I'm thinking right now, even as I speak, I'm thinking. Because short ones are so much better. Yeah, I think that whole triple your following distance is a great. Tripling your following distance is a great life philosophy. Because even the Bible says a wise man sees trouble in advance and avoids it, right? You don't necessarily want to be somebody who's good at dealing with trouble. You want to be somebody who avoids trouble, right? That's what they teach you in martial arts. They teach you, never fight. Always be prepared to fight A, and B, never fight. If you see trouble, you're walking down the road, you see trouble coming up ahead, go to the other side of the road, or, diffuse situations. Don't incite situations. But obviously, the whole point of martial arts, which I'm not even I'm not even the first belt, so don't get the wrong impression. I'm just sharing what I learned in the few classes that I took. Yeah, so don't ever incite the confrontation, but always be prepared for one, because in very rare occasions you have no choice, you know. So that's that. Yeah, I'll end here. But what I was going to say is, if you're always prepared, you know, like one of the things I'm trying to get better at doing is planning in the future. And I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, you know, if you have elaborate plans for the future, right, then your definition of a disaster is transformed. Because you can have these plans, which means if you're taking the trouble to plan for the future, in all likelihood, you're going to be triple prepared for the present, you know, at least for the immediate future. So not only are you're not going to have nearly as many unforeseen situations popping up in the present and in the immediate future, you're not going to have hardly any. It will hardly ever happen. In fact, on a couple of occasions, I've been really good about planning, and I planned, you know, well, for me, by my standards, I planned well. It's rare, but it has happened a couple times, and it was amazing to me. There's one thing that I've observed is that when you never plan, you tend to think that the world is random and that things just happen to you randomly and to people randomly, and you sort of end up that becomes your reference. I wanted to say frame of reference, and I said preference. It ends up being your frame of reference for life. It's like life is largely random. You know, things that happen are largely random. Everything is just fate, and you just go with it. You know, you roll with the punches type thing. But then if you're one of these planning type people, at least in my experience, what struck me at the time was that it was really unbelievable how reliable and predictable things are. I'm not saying they're 100%, but I'm saying it's more like a scale. You know, it's more like a spectrum, where you are on a spectrum, where on one end of the spectrum is complete and total randomness, and on the other end of the spectrum is complete and total, you know, absolute control. You know, so, and we're all in that spectrum. Nobody is well, I guess I would have to say very few people are at the absolutes. You know, I think that there are more people on the absolute end where everything's random than there are people who are on the other end of the spectrum where everything is absolutely planned and controlled. You know, and obviously, I think if I really thought about it for a long time, I think I would come to the conclusion that nobody is at the absolute, no matter how it may appear, no matter what they may think. But anyway, that's conjecture and philosophy. So this whole concept of tripling your following is, you know, becomes a great metaphor for life. There's a similar metaphor among marksmen or you know, gun owners, and that metaphor is aim small, miss small. It's not really a metaphor; it's more like a philosophy. But that's a quote or an adage that I learned in that movie. I think it was The Patriot, maybe, Mel Gibson. I remember the movie distinctly. I'm not 100% sure that's what the title of it was. Anyway, it was definitely Mel Gibson, and I think it was called The Patriot. But in that movie, he says to his son, "Aim small, miss small," and it really struck me. And it turned, and that's it's similar to this. It's similar to being prepared and seeing things in advance. that's more along the lines of if you plan down to the last detail, even if you miss, you still hit your mark, you know. And so I didn't know it, but apparently that aim small, miss small is like the defining characteristic of an entire culture. You know, that's the way certain people in the gun ownership community live, is they adopt that as a philosophy for life. Aim small, miss small. So anyway, I'll make another video for another video diary here, so this one doesn't get ridiculously long, because this one is already 10 minutes. I can't